So today I was observing Tony in your room, and I noticed that he had a small outburst.
Yeah. That'd be the best way to describe that.
I do have a question. You said that he has these quite frequently, and I would just like to know how you define outbursts. What are some characteristics that would go along with that? Just if I come back and observe him again, I would kind of like to know how you would clearly define it.
I would say that he negatively puts down his peers, says they're stupid, says stuff that they do is stupid, takes their papers and rips them up, like those type of things mostly. He doesn't seem to appreciate, like, their opinions, and if their opinions are different, he puts them down.
Okay. So, would any physical aggression go along with that?
Like you saw today, the grabbing of the student's paper when I was talking to the student and ripping it up in front of the student would be the biggest one.
Okay.
Occasionally he's hit a student, but it's maybe been 1 or 2 times the whole school year.
And how frequent would you say that this is? Is this like every day? Is it like 10 times a day? Like, I mean, do you have an idea of how frequent this is occurring?
The negative put-downs towards other students' works is a couple times a day. The, like, physical outbursts of taking stuff from students, those type of things, probably once or twice a week.
Okay, so you say, like, negative put-downs. Are you just saying, like, he's just calling them names? Are they inappropriate names? Is he using any kind of foul language? Or is he just saying you're stupid, you're dumb, or your idea isn't good enough?
It's mostly those. He rarely uses foul language.
Okay. And so have you tried any other strategies or anything with Tony?
Basically all I've really done is talk to him about appropriate behavior. I guess I haven't really tried anything other than that. I kind of just expected that to work.
Okay, so you haven't talked to him about why he's acting this way? You haven't asked him anything?
No.
Okay, is there a particular subject or time of day where he acts out the most? Or, you know, how is he before school or like right towards the end or at lunch? Is there some kind of pattern that you're noticing at all?
I'd say the times of the day that he's the best would probably be during the recess times and maybe PE. But then the times that I see him the worst are during the more academic, like math, reading. He does a lot of put-downs where whether a student gets the problem correct, he yells at them that they're stupid, they're dumb. In reading, he's the same way. He uses terms like moron and idiot.
Okay. So how is he doing in those subjects? Is he, is he struggling in reading when he's calling these people out? Does he know what is he trying to be a bully in any way when he's doing this, or is it because he doesn't know what he is doing?
I don't know. He's definitely a little bit behind in reading and math, but I always just thought it was because of his behaviors.
Okay.
I've never really thought of it as anything outside of that. He doesn't seem to, even if he's not picking on his peers, he doesn't seem to be on task most of the class time. I'd say maybe 50% of the time he's actually on task.
Okay.
And the other 50% of the time he's either reacting to a student's answer, or just not doing his work at all.
I guess, how much data have you collected on his outbursts and his off-task behavior?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Mostly what I've done is just taking a few notes here and there of what his behavior was, and what time it was. But outside of that, I haven't really taken a lot of data.
Have you watched him in between classes, like when you're going from like art to your class, or at recess, or at lunch? Is he sitting by himself? Is he interacting with others? how would you define that? Is he more aggressive during these periods of the day?
Well, at like lunch and recess, lunch you basically just get sat down how you come out of the line. So it's not really easy to tell whether or not he sits with his peers or with his friends because they don't really have the option. You basically sit who you were lined up with, and he doesn't ever line up with the same people for lunch. When it comes to recess, most of the students are really just scared of him, so they more or less stay away from him during those times. They don't want to be around him. They don't want to be hurt or bullied by him in any way during recess.
Okay, that makes complete sense. And here, do you know Tony is one of 5 kids, and his family doesn't typically come to conferences. Has it always been like this since the beginning of the year? I guess, have his parents emailed you back? Have you heard anything from them? Do they respond at all?
I guess I've emailed them about his behaviors, and I've gotten emails back basically saying that they'll deal with it at the house.
Okay.
And that's about it. And Tony never really comes back to school saying anything.
Do you think that him being one of 5 children maybe has something to do with this? I guess, do you feel maybe just seeing him every day, I mean, does he ride the bus? Do his siblings drop him off? How close are they? Do you have any idea?
He usually gets dropped off at school right as school starting, so I don't really see how he gets dropped off at school. He does not ride the bus. I don't know if he walks or if a sibling brings him or if a parent brings him, just because of when he gets dropped off, and the fact that I had to be in the classroom at that time. Other than that, I don't know much. He doesn't really talk about his family, so I don't know. Like, he's the second from the youngest, so I don't really know, like, if it's just a lack of attention because his other siblings need more attention than he does, or if he doesn't like sharing attention with his siblings. I really don't know much about.
Okay, so you probably don't know very much about his interests outside of school. Do you know if he's, like, on a football team or he likes to play basketball? Is there something there that he really enjoys to do?
He has written, when I have gotten him to stay on task in writing, he's written a couple stories about playing basketball with his brothers or baseball with his friends over the summer. A lot of times out at recess, I'll see him with a 4-square ball shooting baskets, because that's something he can do by himself. So I believe he's interested in sports, but I don't know specifically which ones.
Okay. Do you notice if he has a favorite subject or anything like that while you're teaching? Is there something that he really likes to excel in or that he can stay on task longer?
The most I've seen would probably be maybe social studies, more of like the history aspect about learning. There's been a couple of things that he's really enjoyed learning about, but they don't really make connections in any way.
Okay.
Because there's some history things that he really doesn't want to learn about, and other history things he does want to learn about. So there really isn't a connection that I've been able to make.
I can tell the smile at you when you're
Yeah.
looking at each other. I was like, oh, okay, serious.
What he likes to do and what he doesn't like to do in terms of that subject.
So, I have a question. How does Tony do with his homework? When you assign him a task, how does he do with that?
When it comes to homework, he usually does come back with it done. I don't necessarily know if it's his work, because sometimes the handwritings don't match up. I've confronted him on that a couple times, and he really just breaks down, and his outbursts are much worse. And I've also emailed his parents about that, and I never get a response from them about that. But in terms of in-class assignments, if I am the only one working with him, then he can get it done. Or if I separate him significantly from his peers and not let him out of his seat, he might get it done depending on the task. But in general, if I can't work with him individually, or if it's something where I can't separate them, then it doesn't get done.
Okay, So, what I was thinking is we're definitely going to need to do some more data collection on his outbursts. I kind of like a breakdown of, like, you know, if there's any patterns. We can do a tally of, like, his schedule, and if you could just tally, like, when his outbursts occur, just one tally. We'll need a clear definition exactly what it is,
Okay.
we can really, it'll be very easy to just write down a tally. You don't need to time it or anything like that, because they're not lasting over a long period of time.
No,
or
they're
anything like that.
usually a couple seconds.
Okay, yeah, so I'm thinking we can just see how much he is out, or how frequent his outbursts occur, and then maybe from there we can see if there's any patterns related to the kind of day. You said that he really seems to like PE, so if there's something that we can maybe discuss with the PE teacher about maybe rewarding him if we can work on ways to deal with his anger or express himself. I'm thinking his ability to express himself and be able to tell you is something that we need to set a goal for, definitely, and work towards that. Maybe showing him how to say I statements, or if there's like a code signal that he can give you so he can leave the classroom if he needs to cool down. Maybe also trying, for the attention aspect, giving him some responsibility in the classroom. If there's any way you can try and maybe give him a job that he can do every day, maybe he will feel active, and if you can get the classmates involved in this, I think that it would be very effective. I think if they can respond positively to Tony's, him doing well, and maybe have the class give him praise too, that might help him. So it's not just coming from you all the time, and you don't always feel responsible. And I think it also might help him build some relationships, so he doesn't always need your attention, and you can give positive feedback to others. And maybe that'll satisfy his need. I'm just thinking silly jobs like shutting off the lights every day, sharpening the pencils every morning. Just something easy that he can do, and we can see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out and it's not going to, we can come back and revisit this. I would like to collect data for probably a good week, and then we can revisit it. Just looking at that, then we can pick up and we can talk, or we can go wherever else you would like to go with this. How do you feel about this?
Pretty good.
Are there any questions you'd like, or?
Nope, you've answered the questions of what I can try, and I'll get some more information, more data for you.
Okay, thank you.